Today we're here to mark the beginning of Providence Place's next chapter. Providence Place is now under the ownership of a partnership between Pyramid Management Group, Palino Properties, and DW Partners. Together, these partners bring significant investment into our capital city in an operating experience with deep local ties and a shared commitment to the long-term success of Providence Place and downtown Providence. Before I continue, I do want to recognize, I see Mayor Lombardi from North Providence here, and also Councilor Vargas from Ward 7 in Providence. There's also a remarkable sense of history to this partnership. Pyramid was the original developer and manager of Providence Place when it opened in 1999, and now returns as its operator and its owner. Palino Properties has deep Rhode Island roots and decades of investment in Providence, and they continue to invest in our capital city and in downtown Providence. And DW Partners brings significant investment experience and resources, along with its own Rhode Island connection through Aaron Bryson. In many ways, today represents both a full circle moment and a new beginning for Providence Place. There is a great deal of optimism about what comes next, and we're here to celebrate that future today. Welcome to Providence Place. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce to you someone whose family knows this building probably better than anyone. There's a special connection between Providence Place and the Conil family. More than 25 years ago, Steve Conil's father had a vision to develop Providence Place and what would happen on this piece of land. And he believed deeply in what it could mean for downtown Providence. Today, Steve Conil and Pyramid Management Group return as owners and operators, making this a true full circle moment. Stephen sees tremendous opportunity ahead to reinvest in Providence Place and brings in an aspiration to bring new tenants and experiences and build on its important history in downtown. Please join me in welcoming Stephen J. Conil, CEO of Pyramid Management Group.
Thank you for that nice introduction. You know, this really is a full circle moment for me, just not to steal your words, plagiarize your words, but to be here on a project that my father was involved in initially back in the 90s, and I, as a brand new employee to the company, participated in some of those early meetings. And to sit here with Joe Palino today as my partner, it's an interesting event. When Joe and I first met to discuss this opportunity back in January, we quickly realized that we participated in some of those meetings together. So it's quite an honor and quite a feel-good moment to stand here today in front of all of you and to share this moment with Joe, who's now my partner in this project. You know, as was discussed, it's a great full circle moment for my family. My father has passed, and I was just wondering what he would be thinking as I drove in this morning of being here today and having the family be in the ownership of this property again. So it's a very exciting time for us as a company and as a family. You know, this is something that has guided our company for the 55 plus years that we've been in business. You know, we love to manage properties that are complex, that have, you know, real unique idiosyncrasies, as this one does, and really, you know, make them special. Providence Place has been an iconic part of the Providence skyline for over 30 years, and we're really excited about what is yet to come for this asset. You know, when you consider some of the unique attributes, the connection to the Omni Hotel, to the Rhode Island Convention Center, to the Amica Pavilion, you know, the beautiful engagement that it has here on Francis Street, and to the park across, to the opportunity and the potential that lies within those unique attributes of this asset really are very, very exciting and really get the creative juices flowing. Our team has already hit the ground running, even though we just closed today on this asset. When people heard about our involvement in it, we actually fielded a lot of outreach from tenants who say, hey, I hear you guys are going to be, you know, involved in Providence Place. We want to be there. We want to have a location there. So there's going to be a lot of exciting changes and announcements coming in the very near future of retailers, dining, recreation and entertainment venues, as well as aesthetic changes to the asset. And one of the things that we've really honed over the last 5 or 6 years is really honed our security protocol and programs at our other mall properties, and we're going to bring that gold standard program here to Providence Place, and we'll start to implement that immediately. I'd like to thank Mayor Smiley and the City of Providence for all the support that they gave us during this process. Obviously, buying an asset of this scale and complexity takes a lot of support and help, and we've certainly had that from the city. To the tenants, many who are sitting here today, I just want to offer our excitement and commitment to each of you to work with you individually, to bring more traffic and bring more sales to each of your businesses. Of course, none of this would have happened today without the partnership between Pyramid with Joe Palino and his company and his team, also a family business, and obviously with very, very deep local roots here in Providence. The ability to collaborate and work together in terms of the oversight and management of this property. And as was mentioned, Aaron Bryson from DW Partners, who unfortunately could not be here today, the deep expertise that they have in the capital marketplace. One thing that's exciting is the alignment of the partnership. Each of us is excited to bring our own skill sets to the table, but we do. One thing that's very nice is we share a single vision for this asset and for its ability to connect, better connect into the city of Providence again. So as I turn back to David Salvatore, I'd like to say thank you, and I look forward to working with the Providence Foundation, the City of Providence, the State of Rhode Island, each of the tenants in this asset to make Providence Place as best as it has ever been. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve. Now it's my pleasure to introduce someone who really doesn't need any introduction. Joe Palino Jr., CEO and managing partner of Palino Properties. Joe has been a longtime leader in Providence business and civic communities with a deep commitment to continued growth and vitality of our city. I'm going to share a quick story with you about the day the news broke that Joe and the partners were taking on this endeavor. Late last year during the holidays, my 8-year-old son joined me for work. It was a Take Bennett to Work day. And we wanted to see who was around downtown, who I could introduce him to. And of course, I knew one person would be working, and that was Joe. And so we went over to Joe's office and we were chit-chatting. And Bennett has fond memories of his introduction to Joe Palino. The morning the news broke that Joe and his partners were taking on this endeavor, I was having breakfast with Bennett at the West Side Diner. And I started having a conversation with Bennett about what Joe was doing. And I said, listen, hey, Bennett, Joe Palino, you remember him, just did a really big thing this morning. He bought Providence Place. And Bennett looked at me with this very concerned look in his eyes and said, what? We can't go to the mall anymore? I said, absolutely not. If I know Joe Palino, he's going to turn this mall into something that we can all be very, very proud of. As mayor of Providence in the 1980s, Joe was an early advocate for the redevelopment of the land that would ultimately become Providence Place. His connection to this property certainly predates Providence Place itself. Later, as Rhode Island's Director of Economic Development, he was directly involved in the effort to bring major retail to downtown Providence at a time when we needed retail the most in our capital city. He went to Seattle as part of a team working to recruit Nordstrom as an original anchor. I have to say, I still have a Nordstrom tie and I'm wearing it today. In the decades since, he has continued to invest and advocate for downtown Providence. Today, becoming an owner of Providence Place brings, again, that history full circle. Please welcome me in joining my friend, a mentor, and someone who is truly passionate about not only downtown Providence and Providence Place, but the entire city of Providence, Joe Palino, CEO and managing partner of Palino Properties.
Wow. Never did I think I would ever be standing at a podium being one of the owners of Providence Place. And something that David said, today, August 20th, 27 years ago today, this mall opened up. It's just a coincidence that we're having this press conference today on the anniversary. So somebody's overlooking all of us. Mayor, thank you for being here, and thank you for everything that you do for Providence and your help in putting this together. A key thing with Providence Place, I think, is going to be local ownership. Having roots in Providence. Since I was a kid, I've had a love affair with the city that meant so much to me and continues to mean a lot to me. And to have the position at one time as mayor, and now to do what I'm doing now, is very precious to me, very personal to me, and very exciting. I need to tell a bit of a story. When I first became mayor, it was 1984. And I remember getting a call from a real estate broker in Boston who said to me, "Do you want your city to grow? I'd like you to come to Boston to see something." And back then, Ed Morrow, who was the chairman of the redevelopment agency, Henry Fasano, who was a specialist advisor to me, the three of us went to Boston, and we went into Copley Place. And I saw Copley Place in the heart of downtown Boston. And he said, "You've got to try to get shopping in downtown." Now that was in 1984. In April, I remember the date, April 17th, we announced Providence Place was to be built with a different developer. Back then it was Mel Simon. And we were going to build Providence Place right here in this location. And to negotiate with the state, back then was Governor Dupree, who was very good to work with, and Amtrak, which was very difficult to work with, because their bureaucracy is incredible. We were able to put the package together of this property. And about a few months after our announcement, I remember representatives from Pyramid came to me. In fact, I think your dad was in that meeting. And they said, "Mel Simon will never build this, but if you let us be the developer, we'll build it." I said, "No, we gave our word, we're working with them." And then in 1990, 89 or 90, the original developers back then said, "We can't do the job." And the first call I made to was to Pyramid, to try to get them in. And then I left office in January of 1991. I ran for governor, I lost. Governor Sumlin asked me if I'd be head of economic development. Quite frankly, I mean, he just defeated me. I didn't know if I wanted to work for him. And I remember calling Terry Murray, who was the president of Fleet Bank, to ask him his advice of what I should do. And he said, "You're the only one that will understand the intricacies of the Providence Place deal. Cianci's coming back, Sumlin's just becoming governor, he's going to have his hands filled with some other problems. Later on, I realized it was the banks." And he said, "You're the one that can put that deal together because you know it." And we had an interesting time. In fact, before I went to Malta, the last official act I did in 1994 was to sign the state's commitment with the Sumlin administration with Pyramid. You know, sometimes you end up where you began. And now we have this anniversary. And now we have this great structure. But there's, you know, in Rhode Island, a lot of people have doubt. Can it happen? Can you do it? Will it happen? Steve Conil is the right partner. They were that developer that started this mall. And investing here is important. DW Partners is an equity group out of New York. And Aaron Bryson, who's our contact there, was born in Cumberland, has a home in Little Compton, and he has invested with me on other real estate deals in downtown Providence. So that local connection, to me, I think is extremely important. And now we have a lot of work to do. A lot of you got last minute invitations because the deal wasn't finalized until 5:30 last night. And we wanted to make sure that money was transferred, everybody was happy, and we could go on. And then this morning, Steve flew in from Syracuse to be here at this. I care a lot about Providence. I've invested a lot in Providence. I'm the fourth generation of a family who's been investing here for 125 years. So when Providence does well, yes, we'll do well. If Providence doesn't do well, we'll have problems. So it's important that we know who our partners are, and Mayor Smiley, you're part of that partnership. That's important. You need somebody to managing and leading a city that you have faith in and confidence in, making sure that you have predictability. When you don't have predictability, you take a pause. And I've taken a pause on some projects. This project in other communities, because I wasn't sure what was going to happen. But here I have confidence, Mayor, in your leadership and what you're trying to do for our city. So between DW Partners, Palino Properties, we're here. We have the original developer, Pyramid, that is here. What do I care about? I care about security, number one, for the people, for the stores that are here and the visitors that come in. Two, I want to make sure that sometimes people will say, gee, I get stuck in the garage. Well, we have to look at that over again so that people don't get stuck when they're trying to leave. I'd also like to see here new concepts or new retailers coming into the mall. And that's something that Pyramid has that expertise of making things happen. Now, a lot of people will say, are you going to be able to get Costco? Because I mentioned it day one. I want Costco. I'm not announcing it because we don't have them, but I'd love to see them here because they want to be in Rhode Island. The problem is they like one floor of about 180,000 feet. They want parking right in front of them, which is suburban areas you can do. The question is, can we convince them to maybe do an urban area? I don't know, but we're going to try. We've had some initial talks. They didn't throw us out. They didn't sign anything. So we're going to have a lot more talks with them. I'd like to see a supermarket come into this facility. I think downtown needs a supermarket. It's something that the mayor has said to me from day one. Get a supermarket into Providence Place. He's been saying that, and we want to try to do that. And there's other major retailers that we're working on also. So I'm encouraged. Things aren't going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen right away. Today's the first official day of us owning this facility. But I'm encouraged. I think we have the right group of people. I think we're in the right city. And hopefully we can take this to the next level for the next generation, where people will see this is a great anchor into the downtown Providence area. I believed in the city as a citizen. I believed in it as mayor, as head of economic development, and back as citizen again, and investor. And hopefully, everybody will be able to flourish and prosper through this as a community. And that's what we are. We're a community, and we all work together. Before I finish, I just want to recognize a couple of people that are here that's important to me. Jennifer Coyle, the legal work and advice you gave me in putting this together was very important and very valuable, and I thank you for that. You did a great job. And my daughter Jennifer, making sure that you keep me straight all the time is very helpful. To the city council that you're here, a lot of people said to us on the day one, what kind of tax breaks are you going to ask for the city? I said, we're not asking for anything. Yet. Yet. Because we have nothing to ask for. Not yet. Now, if something dramatic happens that can have an effect on the city, then we'll have a conversation. But too many times I see developers ask, just because they say, well, why not? Somebody else got it, why don't we get it? I was a city councilman. I understand what you have to go through all the time. And there's no reason to ask you for something if we don't know what we're asking for and don't do it just for the sake of asking. If we come to you, then you'll know it's serious. But right now, we're not asking for anything. And with that, I want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you for being supportive of us. David, introduce the mayor. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Mayor.
Well, there'll be questions later. There'll be questions afterwards, sir.
The press will be available later to ask questions. Thank you. I would be remiss if I didn't recognize a couple of board members from the Providence Foundation. Michael Vicola from Procashani Properties, thank you for being here, and Greg Almeida from Global View Communications, both board members of the Providence Foundation. Thank you for joining us today. And now it's my pleasure to hear from someone who understands firsthand just how important Providence Place is to the city and to our downtown and its residents, its businesses, and its visitors. Over the past 4 years, Mayor Brett Smiley has been a consistent partner and a strong advocate for what happens in downtown Providence. He has recognized that downtown is an essential economic engine for not only the city, but the broader Rhode Island community. And he's embraced the responsibility that comes with it while strengthening downtown and supporting it. His support for Providence Place was crystal clear and demonstrated in meaningful ways this summer. From his partnership during the World Cup celebrations to helping establish the PVD fan zone in Station Park across the street, bringing thousands of visitors into our downtown and supporting businesses through our Providence and right here in Providence Place. Mayor Smiley's commitment to downtown Providence, to its businesses, and to Providence Place has been steadfast. Please join me in welcoming Mayor Brett Smiley.
Thank you, David, and thank you all for joining us. This is, in fact, a really exciting day for the city of Providence and the start of a new chapter that is full of promise. I think it's fitting that the sun is shining behind us because it is a bright horizon here for Providence Place, but for the city and for its downtown. I want to thank everyone who's joined us today, and particularly the new ownership group. We know that Providence Place has been a part of our downtown for decades, and it has been an asset to this community that's brought thousands of people into the city, has supported jobs, and contributes activity and vibrancy to our city. But it is also true that we all know that this mall has gone through many chapters, just like shopping centers around the country have. And that is why it is so clear that today's change is a good change. You heard it earlier. We have two family-owned businesses with deep roots to this place now in charge. And that is not the relationship we had in the past. And that is what is most important to me. To hear the story that Steve shared about his dad being a part of this, their roots as a family-owned business and connection to this property, and then especially the Palino connection here, not just with Joe, but with Jennifer Romano as well. And there is no doubt that the Palino family and Palino Properties cares about Providence. And that's what I was hoping for and aspiring for when Providence Place went through the process it just went through. To have local ownership, to have people who not only own this building, but also put their head down in this city and pay taxes in this city and send their kids to school in this city can only yield good results. David mentioned our success this summer right behind us at the PVD Fan Zone. And to be fair, David, it wasn't just thousands. It was 150,000 people that came to the PVD Fan Zone. And that event demonstrated the possibility of how we can bring all of this great activity and vibrancy together. The city planned a great free public event. Local small businesses profited from that and benefited from that, whether it was the food trucks in the park or the small businesses that are here actually in the mall through the partnership with Skills for Rhode Island's Future. When it was a hot summer night, of which there were plenty, fans learned that they were staying inside the mall until 90 seconds before the game started, and then they'd go across the street and watch the game. We know that, and this is why the Convention and Visitor Center is here. This is why the folks from the AMP and the Convention Center are here. When thousands of guests come to enjoy our beautiful city, and they stay at one of our hotels downtown, or their kids are in a cheerleading competition at the AMP or at the Convention Center, they spend some of their time here. And it is long past the conversation about the interaction between malls and local small businesses. They both will thrive when they both thrive. And so we want more people in downtown. We want more people shopping here. We want more people enjoying what is an increasingly broadened set of opportunities here that's not just retail, but it includes fine dining and restaurants and experiential opportunities. What they're doing upstairs at level 99 has been a huge success. And we want to see more of that. And we have such confidence in the city, in the group that is now taking this to the next chapter. And so it is, it's an exciting day for the city. And I'll close with one final thought, which is the way in which this physical place is a part of the other changes that are happening here in the city. Just this spring, we finished a brand new urban trail that connects Farm Fresh on Kinsley Avenue to Water Place Basin downtown with a new bike lane, stormwater management, native plantings, and where does that trail terminate? Right underneath Providence Place. And so this is an important node in the network as well, and we're so excited to continue to build that out as we make more investments in Water Place Park and along the Riverwalk. There are so many places and pieces of interconnection for which Providence Place is integral. And I look forward to working with Joe and his team, with Pyramid and their team, and all of you in continuing to see this place grow and thrive into the future as I look forward to seeing Providence grow and thrive into the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor Smiley, and thank you to all of our speakers. Today it's certainly a celebration of Providence Place's history, but the beginning of a new chapter here in our city center. This new ownership represents a significant commitment to Providence Place, downtown, and again, the broader Rhode Island community. To everyone who has joined us, thank you for taking time out of your busy mornings to celebrate this milestone event. We'll now invite our speakers to gather for photographs. Following photos, representatives of the ownership group and Mayor Smiley will be available to the press to answer any questions you might have. And thank you again for being here. And don't forget, on your way out, if they're open, stop in your favorite retailer and please buy something. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you.